There will be 23 drivers making it in. There are going to be 4 heats, and the top 5 in each heat qualify in. The guys who don't qualify in go into a last chance qualifier, where the top 2 from that will make it in. And then there is the final spot is a provisional, which is awarded to the highest finisher in last season's points that didn't previously qualify in. With that, let's get started with the predictions. These are the guys who I think are pretty much automatically locked in. Well, they're not automatically locked in, but I think they will make it pretty easily. First up, Ryan Blaney is an automatic lock to make it in because he won the championship last year, which means he automatically gets the provisional. But he has qualified both years through the heats as well. Next up, I got Kyle Busch. He's finished top 3 both years in the Clash, and he's also qualified in through his heats both year. So, he's pretty likely. Also, he moved to RCR, and when he wasn't at RCR, the number 8 car won the heat too. So, he's locked in, I think. Or not locked in, but I think a lock to make it. Now the other Kyle Larson. He's in a Hendrick car, so he has a pretty good shot of making it by default. He's finished 5th there He's finished 5th both years there and qualified in through the heats. Plus a 2nd place in last year's point standings means that as soon as Blaney qualifies in, he's locked in. Next up, I got Martin Truex Jr. He won there last year and qualified in 2022. With him getting older and maybe thinking of retirement, that could be a distraction. But also he's in a Joe Gibbs racing car, so I think he's pretty good and will make it in. Next, I got William Byron. He's in a Hendrick car, which has been good there the last 2 years. And he's finished top 10 both years after qualifying in through the heats. So I think he's pretty good. Also, he finished 3rd in standings last year, so he could get the provisional. For the final driver, I'd say I'm 100% confident will make it in is Christopher Bell. He's qualified in both years. He's in a Joe Gibbs racing car, and he was having a lot of fun last year. Also, once again, he finished 4th in the standings, so he could have the provisional. Next up, I got Ryan Preece. This one could be a little bit surprising, but last year in an SHR car, he led a ton of laps there before kind of getting bump and run by Martin Truex Jr., who would eventually go on to win the race. Also, he qualified in with a Rick Ware racing car in 2022. Next up, I got Tyler Reddick. 2022, when he was in the RCR car, he won his heat before his car broke under caution or something weird, the new next gen. And last year he almost finished top 5. So I think he's pretty good at this track and could make it in. Next up, we got Joey Logano, who won the race in 2022 and won the heat in 2022. He wasn't as great in 2023, but he still made it in through the heats. Finished 16th, so I think he'll make it in again. This next one may be controversial, but I think Austin Dillon will make it in pretty easily. Just like Kyle Busch, he's finished in the top 3 both years and qualified in through the heats. And he's in RCR equipment, so I think he should make it. But he had such a terrible season last year that I don't know if that'll affect him negatively. I do think he will still make it in, though. Next up is Chase Elliott. Some of you guys may think why I didn't put him in earlier, but he has not actually been as great in the Clash as his other teammates. Both years, he wasn't really one of the best ones to make it in. Plus, he's never had a top 10 here. But I do think he will have a bounce-back season next year, and that will start with making the Clash. Denny Hamlin is another one who you might have thought I would have put in sooner. But with his shoulder surgery, and this is a really tight course where you have to use your arms a lot to turn the car, and we don't know if he'll be back at 100%. I could see him maybe trying to take it kind of easy for the Daytona 500. But I don't think that'll happen. I think he will qualify in, because he won his heat race last year and finished 9th. Next up, I got Denny Hamlin's team's driver, Bubba Wallace. He wasn't really that great in 2022, but last year he qualified in pretty easily and led a lot of laps before getting taken out. So I think he'll have some redemption this year and make it in again. Next, we're going from Denny Hamlin's teammate, basically, to his enemy, Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain didn't make it in the race in 2022, but that was before Trackhouse and him really started getting really good. And also last year, I never really remember seeing him towards the front, but he did finish 8th, and he definitely will move people out of the way to make it in. So I think Ross Chastain will make it. Next up, I got 2 SHR drivers, Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry. Chase Briscoe has qualified in pretty easily the last 2 years. In 2022, he broke a transaxle, I think it was, from 4th under caution, like Tyler Reddick I said earlier, and he finished 15th last year. Josh Berry's never done the LA Clash, but he's a really good short track racer, and he won at North Wilkesboro for the All-Star Open. SHR is also really good at the short, flat ovals, so I'm thinking both of them will get in. Next up, I got Alex Bowman, who will be an interesting one. In 2022, he missed the race entirely, but in 2023, he made the race, qualified in easily, and finished 4th. I think since he's in a Hendrick car, and because of how good he did last year, I think he will make it this year again. After Bowman, I got Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs was really fast in practice last year, before I believe his car caught on fire during practice. He was able to qualify in a backup car, though. But I think at the end with all the extra laps and stuff, he ran out of fuel or something, didn't finish well, so we don't really know what would happen, but he would bump people out of the way to make it in. Next up, I got the 2 RFK cars with Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher. Surprisingly, neither of them had ever made this race, but they had a really good season last year and are going to carry a lot of momentum in. Plus, with one of them making the round of 8 and one of them making the round of 12, they could get the provisional if they need to, but I think they will qualify their way in. Next up, I got Daniel Suarez. He's qualified into this race both years and finished pretty mid. He finished 19th and 14th, I believe. He is in a Trackhouse car, however, meaning he should have enough speed to make it in. Last one up, I got Eric Jones. He's made this race both years with Legacy Motor Club as a Chevy team, but next year they're going to be going to Toyota. Moving to Toyota should help them a lot, and I think he will make the race again in 2024. So those are the 22 cars who I think will make it into the race, but there is still the provisional. Assuming these are the 22 cars that qualify in, Michael McDowell will get the provisional and the 23rd spot to make it into the Clash, with a 15th place points finish, barely beating Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Last year, 27 cars got into the Clash, and assuming if they did do that again this year, these are the 4 cars who I think will make it in. AJ Allmendinger has made this race both years, but I think he will want to focus more on Xfinity next year. Austin Cindric didn't make it in 2022, but qualified in with the provisional in 2023. But he was pretty decent in both of his races, so I think he'll make it in if there were 27 cars. But I guess he didn't make it in. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who barely lost out on the provisional to Michael McDowell. If there were 27 cars, I think he would have qualified in. Or Michael McDowell would have qualified in, and he would have got the provisional. And Noah Gragson. SHR is so good at short tracks that I think even Noah Gragson can make it in. Plus, he made it in last year with Legacy Motor Club. And these are the last 9 people who I think won't make it into the Clash. Justin Haley has been really solid both the 2 years, but moving to Rick Ware, I don't think it's likely that he'll make it in again. Daniel Hemrick, who's taking over Justin Haley's old car. So the 31's been good both years with Justin Haley, but no, we're not really sure if that's the car or the driver. And Daniel Hemrick's never even seen the Busch Clash, so I don't think he'll make it in. Zane Smith, I'm not really sure about, because he's at Spire with an alliance with Trackhouse. If his car is like a Trackhouse car, I think he has a chance of making it in. But if his car is like a Spire car, I don't think he'll make it in, because he's never raced here before. Most of these other guys have never even raced here, or they're just in pretty mid equipment, so I don't think they'll make it in. So these are the 23 cars who I think will make the Clash. Can't wait till the Busch Clash comes on February 4th to see if I'm right or not. Thank you guys for watching, and leave your predictions down in the comments. Bye.